Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Geography Ki Pathshala. So you all know then that in my last video class I discussed with the chapter which is population composition, and there I continued with its part 1. So in this video class I am going to do the chapter's continuation part which is part 2. So let's start with today's video. So in today's video we will start with the concept of rural-urban composition. So basically what we can say that in rural areas and in urban areas there is quite difference. You can say the difference from livelihood, the way they lead their life, or from the socio-economic background also there is quite difference. And you can see that the H6 structure, the population density, these are also varying between the rural and urban scenario. Now this rural and urban, these differences they varies from country to country depending upon some aspects. Generally what we can say that in rural areas the people are engaged with primary activities, and in urban areas there people are mostly engaged with non-primary activities. Now if you concentrate over here, I have drawn a graph. So this vertical line, it represents the females per thousand, and over here I have shown horizontally some countries. And this bar, this black dotted bar, it represents the rural population, and this red hatched line bar, it represents the urban population. So first over here you can see the country which I am representing over here is Finland. Here this black dotted bar means it representing the rural population, it is quite lower than the urban population, and this similar type of condition or scenario you can see in Canada, New Zealand, and also in Brazil, where the rural population is quite lower than the urban population. See over here Canada also it's the same, in New Zealand also it's the same scenario, and in Brazil also you can see the same scenario. But when we come to the country like Zimbabwe, or you can say like Nepal, which I am representing over here, here you can see the opposite condition, because this bar which is representing the rural population, you can see in Zimbabwe this is quite higher than the urban population, and the same condition is also seen over the Nepal, in the country Nepal. Like here also the rural population is quite higher than the urban population. And we can also say that basically in western countries there we can see the high concentration of female in urban areas, because the female generally they migrate from rural to urban areas, and their farming is basically based on some mechanized techniques, and this farming, it is the main occupation of male population in the western countries. But on the other side, if you see the Asian countries or African countries, then you can see that in urban areas male population is quite high, and in farming you can see that female participation is quite higher than the male participation. And male population, they generally migrate from rural to urban population. This kind of scenario is seen like Asian and African country. Okay. Now if we come to the point of literacy, then we can see that sometimes literacy, it is becoming the cause of socio-economic development, and sometimes it is also becoming the consequence of socio-economic development. Suppose, let me explain it. If you see that in any region or in any country their literacy rate is quite high, then you can say that their socio-economic condition or the development, it will also high. That means what? Then literacy is, this is acting as a cause of socio-economic development. And on the other hand, if you see that a country or a region, if it is socio-economically developed, then you can say that there might be literacy rate is quite high. Then over here you can see that literacy, it is becoming the consequence of socio-economic development. Now, if we come to our country India, then in India, literacy rate, it denotes the percentage of population above 7 years old and who can write, read and do arithmetic calculation with understanding. Over here I would like to give you some data, or you can say some information, that literacy rate in India according to our 2011 census, which is 74.04%, and our male literacy rate is 82% and our female literacy rate is 66.5%. And if we see in our country that which state is coming in the first position, or you can say that where we can see the maximum literacy rate. So here the state which where we can see the maximum literacy rate is Kerala, and the percentage is 93.91%, and minimum literacy rate it is seen in the state Bihar, and the percentage is 63.82%. Now, if we come to our last concept of this chapter, which is occupational structure. So, occupational structure over here, the working population means this is indicating the men and women population, those who are coming under this age group, which is 15 to 59. If you remember my previous video class, then while explaining the age structure, I mentioned you that the age group between 15 to 59, this is the large working population. So here we are talking about that between 15 to 59, in this particular age group, both men and women, they are engaged with various type of occupation. Now this different type of occupation, we can divide it into some types like primary activities, secondary activities, tertiary activities and quaternary activities. Now in primary activities, which are included like agriculture, forestry, fishing, mining, etc. These all occupations comes under the primary activities. And in secondary activities, it is related with manufacturing, or you can say it is related with like any occupation which is related to industries. So that kind of services falls under secondary activities. And in the third, which is mentioned here, that as a tertiary activities, is transportation, communication and other services. And the last one is quaternary activities. It represents the jobs which are related with research and developing ideas. So these are the 4 different types. Now from this different types of occupation, or various types of occupation, what you can understand? You can understand the economic development of any nation or country, which I will describe here, that generally what we can see in developed countries. In developed countries, you can see that their population is mainly, they are related with the secondary, tertiary and quaternary sectors. And in developing countries, you can see that most of the population, they are engaged in the primary activities. So by this way I can say that I am completing today's video regarding this chapter, and I hope that all the concepts are very clear to you. And if you people have any doubt or any query, then please comment below. Thank you.